Good afternoon. Lautaro Martínez contract talks advancing. We are going to discuss more about that, and even Lautaro Martínez has gone ahead and really had his say about those contract talks. We are talking about Palhinha, explaining to us about his failed transfer to Bayern Munich, and Akanji still mourning about that loss to the side of Aston Villa that went ahead, obviously, see Man City placed fourth onto the Premier League table. Welcome to Rokani Media Football. Hope you guys are really having fine. The Christians, may the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, we say Juma Karim. It's a Friday, and by the way, near my home it's a mosque, and I'm hearing really the Muslims really go on with their prayers, and I think you guys are really okay with that. So smash the like button, comment and share. If you're totally watching us for the very first time, endeavor to subscribe to this channel so as not to miss out on stories that we do upload in here on a day. Remember, every time we really have a time to come and talk to you, we really utilize that time. And last night, Spurs was beaten 2-1 by West Ham at their stadium, that is the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. That was a London derby. And Newcastle was also beaten by Everton by 3-1. I think 3-0 at the Goodson's Park. So that's how things we went in through. And Premier League action is returning tomorrow. And I've already gone ahead to put up the match preview of Arsenal versus Aston Villa. And maybe I'll really go in and really get in others in the nick of time. But today it's all about the press conferences that these managers have gone ahead to address today. Now, let's go straight into these stories. Lautaro Martínez is one of those players that is needed widely by very many other teams. You know, teams in the Premier League are looking for strikers like Arsenal, Manchester United, Chelsea, Tottenham Hotspur, and very many others. They are really looking in for elite centre forwards. And if I don't talk about elite centre forwards, I think this man really takes a very huge spot into that list. Because when you look at his season at Inter Milan, I'm talking about this season, he has gone ahead to play 14 Serie A games. He has gone ahead to score 13 goals, and he has 2 assists. Those are 15 goal involvements into 14 games, and that obviously puts him into that ilk of obviously becoming a very huge target for other teams. Then 2023-2024 in the Champions League, 5 games, 2 goals. That is the guy. So he has gone ahead to play 19 games, and he has 15 goals and 17 goal involvements. What a way for a striker to obviously put in a very huge demand for whether he stays or leaves the side of Inter Milan. And he has gone ahead and obviously spoken about himself on his contract that is running out in 2026, meaning that if at all he doesn't really extend his contract, then maybe his value will obviously go down. And this is what he had to say when he was asked about the contract that Inter Milan are really planning to obviously offer onto the table. And it's taking close to a year, by the way, 1 or 2 years when they're discussing this contract. Lautaro Martínez, when asked on his contract talks with Inter, he said, I would sign a new deal already tomorrow. I'm happy here at Inter Milan. I feel great, and I really want to put pen on paper to sign a new long-term contract. We are really close, he told the media set. That is it. So Fabrizio Romano is going to have to bring us that story, as the player is going to have to say that he's willing to sign that contract by tomorrow. But there is one thing you will always understand, that these players will obviously come out when they're still at the club and obviously show you how much they're willing to put their bodies on the line, pens on the paper. But when they leave, they'll go out and really hail other teams. I think it's in the non-disclosure clause in their contracts that you are not supposed to obviously disclose certain things. Because if he would sign by tomorrow, why isn't he signing that contract? That is the big question. You know? Because if he's okay with the contract, then he would sign, like he would sign tomorrow. Then why hasn't he gone ahead to put pen to paper? These are things that footballers come out through and really play onto the brains of the fans that really go ahead and obviously hear them out. And sometimes they end up really being the worst hated at the club when they leave. Because when you put out such a statement, every fan will say, all right, Lautaro Martínez wants to stay at the club of Inter Milan, but if he leaves and says no to signing a new contract, then the fans will hate him. But who do you blame? You blame the player because he gave false promises to the fans of the club. Now, Inter Milan CEO Marotta He has said, we are advancing in talks to extend Lautaro Martinez's contract. It will be valid for the next 5 years. He loves Inter Milan and the negotiation is progressing on well. So, the CEO, because he knows his job better, he hasn't told us that it's ready for signing. He has said the talks are advancing. You know, the talks are advancing. They are progressing. That's what he's talking about. But they are proposing a 5-year contract for Lautaro Martinez. That is it. So, Lautaro Martinez, I think there are certain things that they feel are in that contract that don't really favor them. Like, for example, he wouldn't like to die playing into the Serie A. I think if at all an opportunity came in from the Premier League, then Lautaro Martinez wouldn't say no. And in this juncture, Lautaro Martinez is just playing wise. But I think if it backfires, then Inter Milan fans will hate him like they hate Romelu Lukaku. You know, Romelu Lukaku kept on saying that I want to join Inter Milan after the Champions League final. And guess what? He got himself into negotiations with Juventus, and Inter Milan pulled out of the deal because they wanted to make his deal permanent. You know, they wanted to make his deal from Chelsea to Inter Milan permanent, and they couldn't. Do you know why? Because the player called Romelu Lukaku went ahead to obviously want to go to Juventus, and Juventus also backed out. And it looks like Juventus just came in through to obviously fail Inter Milan signing the player, and Juventus also backed out of the deal. So it is really tricky. If it plays in the favor of Inter Milan and Lautaro Martinez, then the fans will be happy. If it plays in the favor of Lautaro Martinez and not in the favor of Inter Milan, then the fans will go hard and mad at Lautaro Martinez. So that's all about Lautaro Martinez, but he's really firing in all cylinders. And trust me, I think he wants a buyout clause in his contract because he knows teams will come out for him that he really wants to play for in the coming years. Let's leave Lautaro Martinez there and let's go to João Palhinha. João Palhinha is really a very good midfielder playing for Fulham, and he was one of those players that he even went and did a medical down in Bayern Munich on the 1st of September this year, and he passed everything. He even went ahead to do the photo shoot. Artwork was designed, and it was just an hour away from announcement. But guess what? What Fulham did was to prolong, you know, all the required paperwork to be submitted because the transfer window of Bayern Munich was closing down around lunchtime, and they delayed everything, and the player returned back to Fulham. And on returning back to Fulham, he signed a 4-year contract. You know, now we have João Palhinha asked by Dazen if he's still thinking of Bayern Munich move ahead of January. He said, "It's not messing with my head. I'm calm. I'm not thinking much about what will come next. It's an important month for Fulham and for me too. Whatever has to happen in January will happen." That's what João Palhinha has gone ahead to say, that whatever has to happen will happen, you know, and he's really doing lots of performances for Fulham. And by the way, he's saying all this after Fulham just went ahead to annihilate Nottingham Forest 5-0. But I know why he's not bothered with teams like Bayern Munich, because he knows there are mob clubs in the Premier League that are really looking at him, and they've already gone ahead to talk to his agents. And there is a long list of Premier League teams that want to sign this player. Arsenal, Liverpool, Tottenham Hotspur, Newcastle. You know, they are close to 4 teams, all in the top 6 places or positions, that have gone ahead to contact his agent to obviously sign him during the January transfer window or the summer transfer window. Meaning that if you ask him, where would you rather play? For Arsenal and Liverpool or for Bayern Munich? He'll tell you, I'd rather stay and play for Arsenal and Liverpool or Liverpool. Even if you ask him about Spurs, playing for other Spurs or Newcastle and Bayern Munich, he'll say, I'll choose any of the 2 from the Premier League. So he's really confident that he's going to be sold. You know, it's like a Moise Caicedo situation that was in January transfer window. Missing out on a deal to Arsenal, you know, putting out a public transfer request. But Brighton really rejected everything and stood in his way. When he returned, they convinced him to put pen to paper, and later he was sold for 115 million pounds to Chelsea. That's Moise Caicedo for you. So as it stands, it is really good news for Palhinha. All he has to do is to play his game at Fulham, because he knows he's going to be taken. And for Liverpool, they might even go for him in the January transfer window, because they have their 100 million pounds already there. And I think if at all they give Fulham 80 million pounds, Fulham will sell. Fulham will sell and get in another player of pure quality. That is it. Lastly, let's talk about Manuel Akanji. At Manchester City, he was played in the double pivot with John Stones as they lost Aston Villa by 1-0. And he has gone ahead to say, we maybe don't have to look at the Premier League standings where we are now. The season is long and there is a lot of points to win. We have to go game by game and get 3 points versus Luton Town. There is a phase. Sometimes you get more luck and sometimes you are unlucky. And I agree with him that everyone who is really ruling out City on the trophy is really naive about this City force. If Kevin De Bruyne returns and Rodri and they play in the team, I think City will go some good number of games winning. But you ask yourself, do you think Arsenal will get the foot of the pedal? Do you think Liverpool put their hand on the handbrake? No way. No way. They are going to obviously accelerate, and for Liverpool and Arsenal, they are even willing to really add more players to their squad in the January transfer window. So I don't really see anything. That is not positive about the title race. The title race is open, close to 3 teams now. I think 4. Even Aston Villa is in it because they're ahead of Manchester City. The top 4 teams, if at all they continue with how they are playing and reinforcing the January transfer window, they can obviously clinch the trophy and really take it home. So Akanji is really right. You cannot rule out Manchester City, and it's all about your next game. And because Man City players were ugly in the last 90 minutes they played, they need to raise up to the occasion. But as they plan to raise up to the occasion, they should have one thing in mind, that they've gone ahead to face a team that put 3 against Arsenal, one of the teams that least concedes goals away from home. Arsenal hadn't conceded 3 goals away from home. They conceded 2 at Chelsea, 1 at Newcastle, and the rest of the games have been clean sheets kept by Arsenal. But if Luton Town really puts 4 past Arsenal, that sends a message to you that it's not going to be an easy game, even though Rodri, Jack Grealish, and Jeremy Doku will return. That is it. So, thank you guys for watching it through. Tell me your thoughts about Lautaro Martínez contract talks into the comment section below. What do you make about João Palhinha not thinking about Bayern Munich? Is he really focusing for a move to the Premier League club, to any Premier League clubs that are really interested in him, like Arsenal, Liverpool, Newcastle, Tottenham Hotspur? Huge question mark. Calling in for your answer. And for Akanji, saying Man City isn't off the trophy. They are really ready to take on the mantle and really not shame their fans. That is it. May the living to God bless you abundantly. The Muslims, Juma Karim, Rokani David remains my name. A sign out for now. See you later, my mate.